Breaking news! A storm is brewing in Miami, and today I have something that could completely change the conversation around this team. We're not just talking about a veteran retiring or a workout. No, this goes deeper. The Dolphins are quietly making moves, some calculated, some questionable. And while some names are getting noticed, it's the silence around key players and the decisions behind closed doors that have caught my attention. The truth? There's a growing tension around this roster, decisions that could define whether this team is truly ready for a Super Bowl run or if we're once again chasing ghosts. I have serious questions about how this front office is operating, and, unsurprisingly, Chris Grier is at the center of it all. The guy should have been fired seasons ago, but somehow, he still holds the keys. Before we dive into what's really going on and why the next few weeks could end this season before it even starts, do me a favor, only hit that like button if you're a true Miami Dolphins fan who's been through it all. And if your heart is set on the Miami Dolphins, express your love in the comments. Go Dolphins! My love is unconditional. Okay, buckle up, because what's happening with Terron Armstead, Jalen Ramsey, and even Tua Tagovailoa may not be what it seems. Alright, let's talk about what just rocked the foundation of the Dolphins' trenches. Terron Armstead has officially retired. Yes, it's done. The Dolphins placed him on the reserve/retired list, closing the chapter on one of the most impactful and respected veterans on this roster. While fans had speculated for months, especially after he agreed to a contract restructure to help with cap space, it still stings to see it become official. Back before free agency opened up, Armstead stepped up like a true professional, slashing his cap hit to around $9 million. A move that gave Miami much-needed financial flexibility to make off-season moves without sitting around in uncertainty over his decision. And here's the kicker, because they waited until after June 1st to make the retirement official, Miami snags an extra $1.2 million in cap relief. That means they'll now carry a $7.8 million charge for him instead of the original $9 million. Unfortunately, this move still leaves behind a hefty $10.88 million in dead cap space down the road in 2026, but in the short term, it's the kind of maneuver the Dolphins needed. Make no mistake, though, this leaves a gaping hole at left tackle. Armstead wasn't just a name on the roster. When he was on the field, even banged up, he brought a physicality and leadership that's hard to replicate. He's a future Hall of Famer, no question. And now, the pressure lands squarely on rookie Patrick Paul. Big shoes to fill? That doesn't even begin to describe it. The reality is simple. There's going to be a drop-off in performance. We can dress it up, but everyone in this fan base knows the truth. Still, the hope is that Paul can at least offer stability and not become a glaring liability on Tua's blind side. Sure, Tua is a lefty and technically the right tackle is his blind spot, but let's not pretend left tackle isn't still a crucial anchor point on any offensive line. Speaking of Tua, guess who rocked the orange jersey today? That's right, Tua Tagovailoa, the polarizing centerpiece of this entire franchise. For some fans, he's the savior. For others, he's the limitation. And then there are those who sit in the middle, rooting for him but fully aware of where he must improve. Today, however, he got that orange jersey, a symbolic recognition of leadership and impact during the day's OTA session. Now, before we go any further, let's call this out. The orange jersey these days isn't necessarily about elite on-field performance. Mike McDaniel has said it's just as much about off-the-field leadership and influence, and that waters down its meaning a bit. Still, Tua earned it. No controversy here. Not today. But here's something that could stir things up again. No movement on Jalen Ramsey. There were rumblings all over Twitter, cryptic countdowns, and speculation pointing toward a post-June 1 trade. But as of the last check-in, he's still a Dolphin. Could it be the contract? That massive cap hit? Could Miami's unwillingness to eat any portion of it be killing the potential deals? It's possible. With other teams freeing up space post-June 1, like the Jets now sitting on over $30 million in cap room, there are suitors out there. But the Dolphins may be playing hardball. Ramsey might want out. The team might want the flexibility. But if nobody's willing to take on that cap hit, we're headed toward a standoff. And look, with OTAs winding down, only 2 more before mandatory minicamp next week, these next few days could bring major developments. Once minicamp hits, it's go time. No more voluntary excuses. If guys like Zach Sealer or Jonnu Smith aren't present, that's going to tell us a lot about where things really stand behind the scenes. This offseason has already been a roller coaster, and we haven't even hit the meat of training camp yet. With so many questions surrounding this roster, from offensive line depth to possible veteran trades, it's impossible not to wonder, are the Dolphins actually building a contender? Or are we watching another setup for a season of almosts? What do you think, Dolphins fans? How do you feel about the Terron Armstead retirement and the current state of the offensive line? Is Patrick Paul ready, or did Greer drop the ball again by not preparing for this moment? We're picking up right where we left off, and there's no sugarcoating it. The Dolphins are entering a pivotal stretch of the offseason with far more questions than answers. The Terron Armstead retirement is the kind of development that echoes through every part of the offensive scheme. When you lose a Pro Bowl caliber anchor on the line, it's not just about finding a new body to plug in. It's about adjusting protections, chemistry, leadership, and frankly, expectations. And now that torch has been passed to a rookie. Patrick Paul, welcome to the NFL. Now let's really dissect what this means. With Armstead gone, the Dolphins' offensive line already looks shakier, and it wasn't exactly rock solid to begin with. Paul is talented, sure. He's got the size, the athletic traits. But the leap from college ball to becoming Tua's shield in an offense that demands quick processing and clean pockets? That's enormous, especially when we remember that the Dolphins were one of the most blitzed teams in the league last season. Defensive coordinators smell blood, and you can bet they're already eyeing that left tackle spot on tape. And here's the problem. This is yet another scenario where Chris Grier's fingerprints are all over the risk. Terron's body had been breaking down for years. This wasn't some shocking revelation. He missed games consistently. The writing was on the wall, and yet here we are, seemingly unprepared. No proven veteran was brought in to groom under Armstead. No insurance policy. Just vibes, hope, and another draft pick tossed into the fire. And people wonder why fans keep calling for Grier's job. He should have been out the door already. But no, somehow, he's still around, overseeing critical roster decisions with Super Bowl implications. Meanwhile, there's still the unresolved Ramsey situation. The countdown rumors were buzzing all over social media, Ramsey's cryptic 5 days tweet, and then silence. As of now, the Dolphins have yet to make any move. Nothing official, but insiders and fans alike are growing uneasy. It's very likely that the holdup is financial. Miami doesn't want to take on dead money. They're tight on cap space already. Trading a player like Ramsey, with a big contract and a reputation to match, is complicated. And if they do move him, what's the return? Are they getting real value or just a chance to breathe financially? Let's be clear, Ramsey still has plenty of game left. He showed flashes last season of why he's one of the most dynamic DBs in the league. But the business side is cold, and the Dolphins aren't in a position to keep every star while pretending the books will balance themselves. If he stays, great. That secondary is elite. If he goes, who steps up? Who fills that void? We're heading into mandatory minicamps next week, and that's when it all gets real. No more light workouts. No more optional sessions. If guys like Zach Sealer, Jonnu Smith, or others don't show up, you better believe there are contract tensions simmering. And trust me, that's not what McDaniel needs heading into a make-or-break year. He's built a culture that's fun, that's player-friendly. But culture doesn't matter if this roster isn't physically and mentally locked in by July. And while we're here, let's keep it real about the quarterback. Tua got the orange jersey today. Great, but orange jerseys don't win playoff games. They don't protect you from pass rushers. And they definitely don't answer the big question this fan base keeps asking. Can he lead this team to a deep postseason run? He's got another year, another loaded offense, and no more excuses. McDaniel has shaped this entire scheme around his strengths. The run game is evolving. The weapons are there. If the offensive line holds up, and that's a massive if now, there are no more crutches. He has to elevate. He has to lead. Because let's face it, this window isn't going to stay open forever. Tyreek isn't getting younger. Waddle needs to get paid. Wilkins is already gone. And guys like Javon Holland, Jalen Phillips, and others are heading toward contract seasons. There's pressure from every angle. So as the Dolphins wrap up this phase of OTAs and prepare for mandatory camp, all eyes are locked on this front office. Will they make a bold move? Will Grier finally show he's more